latest Manchester United news and transfer news. And of course, a packed show for you today. Ten Hag had his press conference ahead of the game against Brentford tomorrow. Brighton, Brentford, a huge tongue twister there. But we're playing Brentford tomorrow in the Premier League away. And of course, I will be giving my preview to that match and updates on Frankie de Jong, Adrian Rabiot, wow, and of course Cristiano Ronaldo and even Marcus Rashford himself, who had his brother, his representative, also speak to PSG last week. Join me as we discuss that today. And of course, subscribe to the channel. My goal is 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So, Ten Hag had his press conference ahead of the game against Brentford. And let me just say, you shouldn't be asking our manager a question only to be disappointed in your answer. Ten Hag is so detailed in the way he speaks to the journalists, the way he forms his answers. It leaves them mind boggled, but it also gives them a sense of, we're not able to read you. And that is good. That is the way Sir Alex had it when he was in a press conference. He controlled the room. He ensured that not too much is given away, but that they take enough away so that they have something to put out in the media. I have to be honest, he seemed quite serious ahead of our game against Brentford. He looked very focused. He looked more as if he knows that the task at hand is huge and there is a lot of work ahead, not just in terms of the way we performed against Brighton, well, shall I say underperformed, but the way we have to move forward from that. Because he knows us Manchester United fans want absolute results. We want to win every single game. He said it himself. Now, let me get into the first couple quotes. And he started off by being asked about Marcus Rashford. And as I said, Rashford's brother was said to be in a meeting last week with PSG with a move for Rashford. My opinion, I don't want Rashford to stay if this is what is happening. We played badly against Brentford. He performed badly. And he found himself now, before the game, it comes out that his brother was looking for a move away for him. Yes, he's got a year left on his contract. Meeting with PSG's people, and he hasn't even been performing for Manchester United for the past 2.5 years. So how can he look to move away if he hasn't been performing for us? But Ten Hag actually shut it down. He didn't really beat around the bush, and he simply said, he's a really important player. You have seen from the first day I'm here. I'm really happy with him. I don't want to lose him. He's definitely in our plans at Manchester United. So, guys, you have to understand, there is no way Rashford would have been sold anyway. It is probably just a tactic for him to get a bigger contract, for him to basically stamp his authority as an important player in the team publicly, but also in the dressing room. Everybody knows Marcus Rashford, the brand, the off-field things that he did was all fantastic. But as a footballer, he's yet to excel in a Manchester United jersey. He failed to impress in a Europa League final where we thought he would have done better. Blame Ole, blame the tactics, but he is a player on the pitch that night who could have and should have done better. But Ten Hag was brought into the club to ensure that Rashford can be improved upon, that he can coach him to a level where we thought Rashford would be going when he first burst onto the scene. So Rashford being on his way to PSG, or the way the news reports were out there, it was never going to happen. That I was 100% sure of. Moving along, he was also asked about Ronaldo, whether he's fit to start and how he has been training. And he said he had a good training week. I thought he played a little bit longer than half an hour. He's had 2 half games, and for the starting 11, we will see tomorrow. My decision, I keep it. So, guys, there was also a report that came out saying that Ronaldo will be staying at Manchester United for the season. If he does leave, then it would be something on the last minute that happened. So, good news. It kind of saves us a bit in the sense of not having to go for a striker, but maybe we can go for a winger now, knowing that Ronaldo is potentially staying. Of course, 2 weeks in the transfer window left, deadline day, as they say it. There's a lot of things that can happen in these 2 weeks. Of course, we don't want Ronaldo to leave. If he wants to leave, there's no questioning him, no doubting him, and definitely no stopping him. But knowing that he could potentially stay, you might think that he will probably start tomorrow. I'm sure Ten Hag will be starting him tomorrow. Of course, he also did say likely be starting up front, and probably Rashford will be on the left and Sancho on the right. That will be the front three. I'm sure of it. And even though Rashford had this whole thing of him going to PSG, etc., he will start tomorrow. That's a fact. I don't think, as much as we want to see a Garnacho starting over him, we trust me, Rashford will be starting tomorrow. Ten Hag will be starting him and expecting him to do better, to perform better than what he did against Brighton. Likewise, Ronaldo, not much to prove in terms of Ronaldo's position, but Ronaldo will want to score. He will want to prove a point to the media, to the world, to Manchester United that, you know what, he is still the main man at the club. And of course, we look at it as a positive to hear that Ronaldo is staying. It leaves us with a bit of an option to go for, as I said, a winger in a Cody Gakpo. And there's something. A report came out from Samuel Lockhurst saying that people above Erik Ten Hag have decided not to pursue Ten Hag's wish of going for Hakim Ziyech. So Ten Hag wanted Ziyech, or wants Ziyech, but the board doesn't want him. But yet they wanted shall I say, a racist person in Arnautovic to come into the club. That in itself shows what a mess we are in right now. That the board is not going for who Ten Hag or the fans want, but they are going for players that they want, that they think would be better, which in itself shows the mess that we are in. Ten Hag also was asked about the game against Brighton, and he said, what I do always after every game, I analyze the game, what went well, what went wrong, where we can improve, what we have to improve, how we can train, and we tell the players and show them how to improve to get solutions. Not much to say on Brighton, but that is the way Ten Hag is as a manager. Meticulous, he reads the game well, very detailed, looks at mistakes, looks at good things and where to improve upon good things, not just the bad things. And that is where you will see over time his excellence being proven. The way he will coach our players. Some of our players will improve, no doubt. Some of our players will become better than what they were under an Ole. But we do need signings. They do need to come in. That being said, Ten Hag was asked about transfers and he said, I'm happy. I think we're cooperating really well. I cannot tell about any individuals. I know we have to win every game. I know the fans. I know the fans expect to win every game. We have to deal with that. And all I can do is prepare the team as well as I can see this weekend. So Ten Hag knows that we will be needing signings. He knows that we have to get in players that are needed to start in the team, let alone be in the squad. We know our squad is not good enough. The game against Brighton proved it, but there's no plan. There is no structure yet in place. Ten Hag has come in and is putting the foundations in place, or trying to, but the Glazers and the board don't want to do that. They don't see it as a necessity. They don't see it as an urgency like me and you as a Manchester United supporter. They find themselves in a state of, I don't care. And Ten Hag basically makes it more adamant. And he says, and this was when he was asked if the squad is good enough and if it should be better by the end of the window. And he said, it has to be. And he is convinced that it will be a better squad. He said that he is on the same page as the board with regards to transfer targets. Now, you can say that is true, you can say it is not true. The point is, he cannot publicly say that him and the board are not getting along. It's probably in his contract not to speak publicly about the Glazers in a bad sense, or the board in a bad sense. But yet he's there saying that by the end of the window, the squad has to be better. He's convinced that it will be better. Time will tell whether the Glazers show their ambition towards not just the coach, Erik ten Hag, but towards us as fans, towards us as the loyal Stretford End faithful that take the time to watch a Manchester United team and play. So it's going to be interesting to see how we perform against Brentford tomorrow. That being said, I will go into my preview as well. Now let's just get it out there. The predicted starting 11 that I think would be for the game against Brentford tomorrow. And this is just purely based off one, the performance that we had against Brighton, and also mind who is not available. So of course the gear would be in goal. And I do think Maguire will start again because he is the captain. That's the only reason why he gets a chance in the starting. Varane will be starting next to Maguire. And left back will be, in my opinion, Malacia will start because Shaw had a bad game. Malacia will start, and on the right, of course, Diogo Dalot will be playing right back. In midfield, now I have a feeling, and this is just purely based on what happened against Brighton, I think you will go with a team of Fred, Donny van de Beek, and perhaps Bruno in the 10. And of course, Rashford, Ronaldo, and Sancho. I think that will be the lineup that he starts with. But for me personally, I would change it to Fred, Donny, and Eriksen in midfield. I would start Garnacho over Rashford with the way Rashford's been underperforming. And of course, Ronaldo will stay up front. And I'd rather take Maguire out of the team and put Varane and Martinez there, which in my opinion is the best centre-back partnership that we have at the club. So it's going to be an interesting game against Brentford. I don't see us running away with the ball. I don't see us dominating possession the way Ten Hag would want us to dominate possession. I do see us defending against Brentford because Brentford are a better team overall. They have a system. They are good with their system and they're playing at home. So they are going to be up for it. Knowing that we are a wounded animal in that sense, Brentford will be coming at us and they will want to exploit the failures and the gaps that we have in our team. And if we're not up for it, we could be looking at another loss. But imagine exactly the backlash from the fans if we do lose tomorrow. But I don't think we will. Of course, I'll always be optimistic as a Manchester United fan. I do believe we should win tomorrow's game. It has to be a win. Hands down, there cannot be a sense of looking to lose or draw. We have to win. It's as simple as that. It's insane to think that only the second Premier League game of the season, and we're already talking about must-wins. It is the state of where we are as a club. It is the state of how far we have fallen. But we are still, in my opinion, the biggest club in the world. We still have a huge, huge volume in our name. Our name carries so much weight. And that is why Ten Hag knows and wants to get us back to the top, competing once again. Quick updates on Adrien Rabiot. Today, John Murtagh was in Turin to speak to Veronique Rabiot, who is Adrien Rabiot's agent, his mother as well, to discuss the personal terms with regards to his contract. As I said, he's going for players that the fans don't want, and worse, why are we going for players that Spurs, Liverpool, Chelsea are not going for, and we're going for him? So that in itself tells you how bad the Adrien Rabiot transfer is. But don't get me wrong, he's better than Fred, he's better than McTominay, and will be better for us. There is a player there. He is a good player, but he's not an immediate choice that we would want to go for. He's not even a long-term choice of Ten Hag. He is a desperate signing to get someone in to help. And if Ten Hag sees him as a player that he wants, fine, fair. We'll back him. We'll back the player. We'll expect and want him to perform well. But he is not a first-choice player. He wasn't who Ten Hag wanted in the first place. Let us not forget Frankie de Jong, and back into him, an update on him as well. It has been reported that Barcelona has a fifth lever that they can use, and the fifth lever is the sale of Frankie de Jong. It was said that they sold more of their studios towards registering their players ahead of the weekend, but they will still need Frankie de Jong to be sold to pay salaries and other stakes at the club. So Frankie de Jong, whether we hear where he will be going, leaving or staying, Chelsea, United, much to hear on that. But of course, we'll be hearing that soon because it's all about Brentford from the weekend onwards. And let's hope that we get a good performance against Brentford and that we at least have a proper start to the season and get Erik ten Hag, a win, and a win for some positivity in the fan base, because wanting the Glazers out is toxic, but we have to stay strong. We will come out of this dark tunnel that we find ourselves in as Manchester United fans. We will once again be competing at the top, and it will be Ten Hag who will be taking us there, in my opinion. Thank you guys for joining me in today's video. Of course, subscribe to the channel. My goal is 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I always talk Manchester United news and transfer news. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the game tomorrow. And of course, glory, glory, Manchester United. Bye-bye, Red Devils.